Megadeth, The Sick, The Dying, and the Dead versus 72 Seasons. Metallica's brand new album that just recently released, both releasing in 2023. Which was the better album? I'm asking you, seriously, which one was the better album? Let me know in the comments, and I'm going to kind of just give my opinion on it all. First of all, I am a diehard fan of both bands. I grew up listening to Megadeth and Metallica at the same time. Honestly, I listened to Megadeth before Metallica. I was recently talking to Dave Ellefson about maybe like a month ago. We did a really cool interview. I'll try to pop it up in a sec. But that was my introduction to thrash metal, was actually a cassette tape of the first album. And then after that, I heard Metallica. So, you know, they're very special to me. Megadeth, Metallica, very, very special bands for a lot of us, right? But we always see so many people, debating on what's the better band. Some people will say, oh, well, Megadeth's way more technical, and, you know, Metallica's too slow, some will say. Or they'll say that Metallica has sold out. Megadeth never sold out. Me personally, in this day and age, where we are right now, Metallica has put out one of the best albums they've put out in a long time. This is a fantastic album. This is a fantastic album, too. I don't have a hard copy of the Metallica album. I'm hoping that they release some autographed. I would love to have it. It's something I've always wanted, was have the album autographed. But I do have one autographed by Dave Mustaine. Maybe one day we'll get one signed by Lars, James, Robert, or Kirk. You know, I love those guys. And rest in peace to Cliff Burton, man, by the way, too, man. We always got to put that love out there, man, to Cliff Burton, because, man, he's a big, big part of Metallica, and he still is to this day. So, with that being said, I will talk about this album first, since it came out first. The Sick, The Dying, and the Dead was a kick-ass album. This was a strong release for Megadeth. You know, a lot of people have criticized the past couple of albums that have released before that. Dystopia was fire to me. I love Dystopia. But some of the other albums, you know, I wasn't that crazy about, but Dystopia was amazing. This album, minus, I will say the Junkie song, I have grown to really like it, but the hook and the Junkie, it reminds me of like some Def Leppard shit. And no shots at Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard, but that effect on there, it just threw me off a little bit. And then the song that really turned me off when it comes to this album, going from maybe like a 9 to maybe an 8 or a 7, was the Mission to Mars song. And, you know, I doubt Dave or any of the band members will ever watch this, but I say this with all respect. Like, I just think that song was really kind of corny, you know, and I know that an artist is going to hear that and feel disrespect by it, and I hope, you know, I expect more from such a seasoned, polished band that knows what they're doing. I think that putting a song on an album that is not extremely tight and extremely relevant to what's going on right now, sound-wise, sonically, you know, lyrically, I think that is risky business. And I think that that song, that particular song, if that was not on this album, this would have gotten even boosted up to a whole nother level, to me personally. But when you decide to put a song like, you know, Mission to Mars, singing about wanting to be an astronaut, I mean, I just was very cringe when it came to that song. But everything else was really strong. I mean, the singles, what were the singles? They were Soldier On, We'll Be Back, and Night Stalkers with Ice-T, which I really loved that song a lot. I thought all the singles were really strong. So that's basically me criticizing and analyzing this particular album. Now, let's get into 72 Seasons. 72 Seasons, they released a bunch of singles. They released Lux Eterna first. Then after that was Screaming Suicide. Then after that, there was If Darkness Had a Son. And then 72 Seasons, which all four of these singles were strong singles. We have had some criticism with Kirk's solos. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that he was just shredding and not really grooving on these songs like he was on all of the other songs. The other solos he did, every single solo he did on the other songs had such like a feel to it. Like, you know when you hear a Kirk Hammett solo and you could feel that shit? You got that throughout this album. At times, I felt like I was listening to the Black Album as far as how much feeling was in that. The feeling I get when I hear a guitar solo. Because that's what you're supposed to get when you hear a guitar solo, right? You're supposed to almost feel, and this is not like factual. This is just what I think. Please let me know what you think. But I feel like when I hear a guitar solo that stays with me is one that I could feel, almost like the guitar is almost talking to me. Like it just, I could feel like the goosebumps at times, and it takes you on a roller coaster ride for about a minute, right? And I got that on a lot of the other songs, like really a lot of the other songs. Lux Eterna, a song like that, just a lot of shredding, you know. The pentatonic scale, right? That's what everyone keeps saying. And criticizing that's all he uses and this, that, and the third, which I disagree. I think that people like to troll the band members of Metallica, especially as they're getting older. I keep hearing people trolling Lars. Lars is fantastic on this album. And if you watch Lars play live, he's delivering. So, I mean, this is my opinion. You can please disagree with me if you want, you know. But if you notice, people don't really do that to Megadeth. Is that because Megadeth is the better band? And what are we talking about here? Let's stay focused. We're talking about who released the better album. So, to make a long story short, I'm going to tell you right now, there's not one song on this album that made me cringe. There is on this right here. So I have to give it to 72 Seasons. Respectfully. But this is a fantastic album. And if you have not heard it, you need to listen to it. Because it was a great, great album. I'm still listening to it. Sometimes I don't know why bands, artists put a song that's not going to give people such a like, oh my God, this is so effing good. Like, don't put it on the album. Like, don't put this shit on the album unless you think that the fans are gonna really respond to it. I understand there's an artistry to it too, but you know, it could be there's a lot of yes men around them also in the studio, and that could be a problem at times. But I mean, you know, that was a very big disappointment when I heard that, because I think Dave Mustaine is like so cool to me. Like, he's a cool motherfucker to me. So it's like, hearing that, I'm like, I understand what he's saying. It's cool and all, but it didn't need to be on this effing album in 2023. It made them sound outdated. The Junkie song, I know he's had a really rough past, but that song was borderline outdated also. This album, beginning to end, there's nothing outdated on this album. 72 Seasons, there's zero of anything that I hear that's like, damn, this sounds so outdated. Like, and when I mean outdated, I mean just being relevant to what we want to hear in this day and age. I want to make myself clear. Hit that like button if you're enjoying this video too. This is something that I am trying out, and that's the thing about YouTube. We want to try new things, keep it spicy. We mostly do reactions here, but I really wanted to speak about this because it's the great debate, Metallica versus Megadeth. Inamorata, I think, is the standout track. It seems to be the one that everyone is going absolutely crazy for. It's 11 minutes and 11 seconds long. People are saying it has to do with James's divorce. Some are saying different stuff. Let me know what's the deal with that song. What's your interpretations? People are saying that it just has to do with misery, dealing with that shit. Just being miserable and dealing with relationships, our relationship. We did a whole video on that song, and it's a kick-ass video. But that was one of the standout songs from the first time hearing it. Also, You Must Burn is brilliant. Love that song. Chasing Lights is fire. I love James's voice on the hook on that. Too Far Gone. I did a sick video on that where I actually kind of blended in No Remorse with that, because there's some notes that are very similar in the speed pattern of the riffs. Now, I do DJ, so I did a little something right here. You gotta watch that video. It was fantastic. Room of Mirrors, I did not really like. That was like at the bottom of my list, and I've been listening to the album nonstop, and I really love the song now. So like, I really don't have any bottom feeder song on this album. No album filler. I think this is a fantastic album, beginning to end. And once again, this is a fantastic album too. It did not need the Mission to Mars song on it, and this is where they could have possibly battled it out, but I think that no one is going to agree with me that Mission to Mars was a banging ass song. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think there's anyone that's like, I love Mission to Mars. I want to be an astronaut too. God damn it. Hell yeah. Like, I just don't think that people are really fucking with that song like that. And Dave Mustaine's vocals on this were A1. He sounded great on this album. James sounded great on 72 Seasons, the whole album, not the song, whole album, but they both sound really great. Dave, he had I'm pretty sure it was throat cancer, that situation. He sounded great. I seen him live, maybe 6 months before that. Freaking was crushing it, man. People were just going nuts. They were like, Dave. We were all, Dave. Dude, we love Dave Mustaine, man. He's a living legend. They all are. But yeah, I wish that song wasn't on here. So as far as this debate that's going on with 72 Seasons versus The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, I think just out of default being that, for me, I just am not fond of that song and the Junkie song. I don't hate that song anymore. At first I was like, this is horrible, and then listen to it some more times. I actually don't mind the song anymore, but sometimes less is more. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if they deleted those two songs and we didn't have that on there. This album would be freaking close to bulletproof, bro. Because everything else on here is kick-ass. You got songs that have great feeling to it. You've got some kick-ass, thrashy, fast, speed metal-like songs on here too, man. I mean, some people were criticizing Night Stalkers. I love Night Stalkers. I think that song's freaking badass, man. I love it. We'll Be Back, ending the album with We'll Be Back, which was their first single. It's kick-ass because, it gives us hope that we're going to hear another album from them. And hopefully when we do, it will be like this or better. Hardwired to Self-Destruct was a brilliant album. It was fantastic. The album before that, the Death Magnetic album, was fantastic too. Some people are giving like the impression when I'm hearing people's opinions like, oh, they finally are bringing us where we need to be. Like, you guys really didn't like Hardwired to Self-Destruct or Death Magnetic? Death Magnetic was a hard-ass album. That shit was fire. And that album didn't have the Unforgiven 3 on there, which definitely competed with 1 and 2. I mean, all 3 from that trilogy were all incredible. If you guys want me to do videos on that, please let me know that too. Maybe we'll just sit down and listen to all 3 of them. It's crazy to also think that Robert's been in the band for, I think it's been over 10 years now, playing bass for Metallica. One thing about Metallica also, I think a lot of people have a big connection to them because for the most part, we've had the same members for all these decades that they've been releasing music. Of course, we lost Cliff with that accident. Rest in peace to Cliff. And then we had Jason Newsted for such a long time also, and then he left. And now we have had Robert for a long time also. So you build a connection with these guys from not only hearing the music at home, in the car, at the gym, but also going to the concerts, hearing the interviews, watching the music videos. I think Megadeth not having steady people, steady members in the band takes away, I'm trying to think of the right word. I'm sure you guys can help me out. You guys, I think, know what I'm talking about, though. It's like, like every Megadeth album, it seems like they just are shuffling people. Like, okay, well, he's gone, he's in. He's gone, he's in. But that's also cool at the same time, right? I mean, look at the list of talent. Chris Poland was incredible. After that, I'm pretty sure it was Jeff Young for So Far, So Good, So What. Then we had the great Marty Friedman, another amazingly guitarist. Kiko is incredible. And he killed it. On this shit, especially, whew. Dave Mustaine is like, I always say, he's like the Phil Jackson of heavy metal. Because, like Phil would always like get new pieces. Like someone would leave and he would bring someone back. And it would just always work, right? But like with Metallica, you have a different kind of energy with that band because we've all have grown up, a lot of us, from when we were kids. And, they're like, we see these guys that have been together for so effing long, man. And it's like you build a connection with them. I think. Maybe you guys understand me, maybe you don't. But at the end of the day, it's about the music too, man. And another thing about Metallica is that they may not be the most technical band ever, but they know how to put together great songs. I was hearing an interview where, I think it was on Howard Stern, they were saying basically when they're creating music, they'll have James and Kirk just do a bunch of riffs, demos, pass it to Lars. Lars kind of puts it together, kind of like a puzzle, which in itself is incredible. I mean, sometimes I don't think we give Lars enough credit, man, for what he does. I mean, sometimes I don't think freaking James gets enough credit for how ill he is on that pen, man. Lyrically, like what he's saying, his songwriting is brilliant. But I think a lot of us also just look at them as a team, right? Because they play as a team, it seems like. And that's what's special about Metallica. But they know how to make damn good songs, damn good albums, because every Metallica album, I listen to beginning to end. I don't say, oh, I like this song, I like that song, let me make a playlist. No, listen beginning to end, except Saint Anger, which, we'll let that one slide. I think they were going through a lot. We know they were going through a lot of shit around that time, man. And thank God they didn't break up, man. That would have really been terrible because we wouldn't have gotten 72 seasons. Shit. But yeah, all in all, both great albums. Great albums. I want to know your thoughts. Which album do you like better? 72 Seasons, or is it The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead? Hit the like button, leave your comments, interact, and give me suggestions on any other topics you would like me to speak about. Because I would love to entertain you and talk about music. Listen, I created this channel because I love music. That's why I did this. To connect with music lovers that are just, music is life. Like that kind of vibe. That's how I am. And I think that's how a lot of you are. I'm sure anyone that clicked on this is on that, man. But yeah, share your thoughts. Give me some inspiration in the comments if there's anything you want me to put out there. And please subscribe. I'm trying to get to over 1,000 subs. This way we could, build on this channel more. And I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. All right? Click one of the boxes. And I'll catch you later, man. Peace and love. I'm Delz. You can be anywhere in the world. You're here with me. And I appreciate the fuck out of you. We out.